I'm James Hart, and I approved this message. I understand why the liberals want to legalize drugs and gay marriage, because when I lived in Haight-Ashbury in 1967, we want to do the same thing, because we believed it would bring freedom and a better life, utopia. Now I understand it brought sickness and tragedy instead. I'm running for Congress because my son took drugs and committed suicide, and I'm in a culture war to make sure what happened to my son won't happen to yours. If my son were alive, I would not be standing here. The liberals are not bad people. They have legalized marijuana in 14 states, 1/3 of all states, not because they want to harm anyone, but because they really believe this is going to bring freedom and a better life, utopia. What would stop them from legalizing opium or cocaine? You know somebody is going to try to do it. That's why the liberals have legalized gay marriage in 5 states. That's why Obama wants gays in the military, because they believe this is going to bring freedom and a better life, utopia. What would stop them from legalizing prostitution? You know somebody is going to try to do it. And we, who favor the traditional moral compass of white civilization, the traditional family unit, are accused of intolerance and bigotry because we oppose the counterculture of drugs, which the liberals say will bring freedom, a better life, a victimless crime. I saw my son in a casket 3 blocks from the Paris courthouse at the McAvoy Funeral Home after he took drugs and committed suicide. Is that freedom? A better life? A victimless crime? We don't care if the Haight-Ashbury counterculture tells Hugh Hefner to marry his dog, to smoke dog doo-doo, or marry his goldfish. We do care if the counterculture comes into our homes and kills our children in our own homes, and that's what they did to me. Now, I was just like you. For 40 years, I stood aside while other people's children died of drugs and school shootings. I said, well, I could have done this, I would have done this, but it wasn't my son. Then one day, the phone rang. It was my son. One day your phone could ring. Your kids go to the same school, Henry County. They watch the same TV. They listen to the same counterculture music on radio, advocating drug use. No one's family is safe. Despite the fact that thousands of our children have died of this counterculture, the liberals still yell, oh, this is freedom, this is America. No, this is not freedom. This is not America. This is Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, the liberals may tell you Sodom and Gomorrah is a myth. Well, maybe it was a myth, but it's not a myth today. I lived there in 1967. It was called Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco. I saw people screaming from taking drugs. I saw a person try to commit suicide, and I had to stop them. And now the liberals want to bring that counterculture here? You think they can't do it? They brought it to my home. They can bring it to yours. Far from protecting our children from this counterculture, the liberal politicians in Washington are actively promoting it. John McCain pointed out in 2008 debate with Hillary that Hillary had voted $1 million of your tax dollars to build a monument at Woodstock to commemorate and celebrate the counterculture. I invite Hillary to my home to see a real monument to the counterculture. It is not the 10 Commandments. It is this broken window. It was not broken because my son threw a baseball. It was broken because my son took drugs and committed suicide, and that's where the bullet went. As I said at my son's funeral, I will run for Congress, I will run for the Senate, I will run for president, and I will win or I will die. I will bury the Haight-Ashbury counterculture, not our children. The funeral at the McAvoy Funeral Home was not just for my son, it was for your son, it was for our whole civilization. Good and evil are not myths. Despite what the liberals tell you, good and evil are biological law, no more arbitrary or subjective than the laws of mathematics or chemistry. Just as no moon mission, based on the counterculture formula 2 + 2 = 5, could ever get there, no society that refused to abide by the principles thou shalt not kill and thou shalt not steal could possibly exist. Every farm, every factory, every house, every car, every spaceship was created by cooperative human behavior, and it could not exist if we killed and stole from one another. This tendency to cooperate with others toward the accomplishment of a common goal is instilled within us when we are raised as children within the context of the traditional family unit. The most important institution in our society is not capitalism, not democracy, not General Motors. It is the traditional family unit. The anarchy and the nihilism of the ACLU and the counterculture could not plow a field, could not build a house, and could not raise a child. If we do not return to the traditional moral compass of white civilization, our children will die, our civilization will perish, and every farm, every factory, and every house will dissolve and disappear. And this will be a jungle. If you want freedom, don't vote for me. If you want to protect your children, your home, your family, I'm your man. I will not vote to legalize gay marriage. I will not vote to legalize marijuana. I will vote to save the soul of our children from the counterculture by taking back our schools. I will put "thou shalt not kill" and "thou shalt not steal" on every blackboard in every school in America. Paid for by James Hart. I will not vote to legalize marijuana. If I win this election, I will take back the souls of our children by taking back our schools. If I win this election, I will put "thou shalt not kill" and "thou shalt not steal" on every blackboard in every school in America. Paid for by James Hart. "Shalt not steal" on every blackboard in every school in America.